Okay, so now it's the moment to talk about a feminist digital space, on how we can contribute, each of us, to build the stage. And this space, we will hear and discuss the feminist approaches to digital security and privacy, how to deal with technology-facilitated, gender-based violence. And the next speaker will also talk on how to create a resilient movement and build a feminist internet. I know that all of you are curious to hear more about this topic, but before inviting the next speaker on stage, I also want to highlight the body right movement in Kosovo, which was launched in December 2022 in a joint cooperation with UNFPA Kosovo and IPCO Foundation. And Body Right remains a global campaign, which in fact is a new copyright symbol to demand protection from digital violence. Body right your images, so all of you can join this moment. All you have to do is to put the body right symbol in your photos. You can see here the person you see also in the picture is Mrika Nikce, who was also the image of the campaign and who told her personal story on how she faced gender-based violence as well. So if you want to join this movement, all you have to do is in your social media, when you post your photos, you mark them with a body right mark, and this means that they are only your images and nobody has the right to use them without your permission. We have to be safe, and we have all to contribute in bringing a digital space which is safe for each of us. Now I invite to join in stage Jelena Memet, who is the founder and director of Alternative Girls Center, who will talk more about feminist peace building and also the initiative of Feminist Spring School. So Jelena, welcome to Pristina and welcome to the stage of DOKU.
Thank you. Thank you and hello. As Atina said, I'm Jelena Memet. I'm not a digital expert. I'm a feminist activist coming from organization. Just a second until I manage this. I'm coming from one organization, small organization from Kruševac. It's a small town in Serbia. And we are founded in 2013. This year is our 10th anniversary, and our mission is promotion and protection of women's human rights, empowerment of education of girls and young women, and of course other young people, and affirmation of feminist values, peace, youth and cultural policies, and we are working locally, nationally, and regionally. I want to say something more about our work before I get to the topic. We have several programs that are very important to us, and one of them is Feminist Spring School. I am proud to say that this is the 9th year that we organize Feminist Spring School as part of Feminist Peace Building Program. And we are doing it together with Art Police organization from Pristina. I am sure you are familiar with. And Feminist Spring School aimed to bring young women from Kosovo and Serbia together to build sustainable peace. And we are opening a safe space for dialogue and reconciliation. And of course, our aim is that young women participate in peace-building processes. The other program that we are working is Support Supergirls crowdfunding philanthropy program. And in 2 years, since this program is existing, we managed to collect money and to support 49 girls aged 8 to 14. We want to affirm education in science, in art, and in sports to young women. And we are celebrating International Girls' Day on October 11th and International Girls' Day in ICT. So that's when we give scholarships to girls. The third program that is related to my topic is gender-based violence prevention. And since we exist, we are working on fighting gender-based violence, and we are working especially with adolescent girls, age 15 to 19. We are organizing peer educations, and for now, we had over 150 workshops all over Serbia and in high schools. The program that I'm talking about is Digital Security and Privacy from Feminist Perspective. So in this program, we are dealing with 3 areas: researches and analysis of technology-supported gender-based violence and legal measures in order to advocate for better legislatives, capacity building of women's movement in the Balkans, and technology gender-based violence prevention. How and why we started? Let me ask you a question. How many of you have received at least one unwanted photograph in your inbox? Can you raise your hand? Wow, thank you. How many of you have been bullied online? Okay. Or insulted or whatever. Do you know that 23% of women experienced at least once digital gender-based violence, at least once in their lifetime? And that 1 in 10 experienced some form of digital violence before 15 years old. If someone makes you feel bad and you want to cut all of your accounts and leave the internet and you feel scared or feel uncomfortable, it's a slight chance that you have survived or experienced digital violence. In last 15 years, while working with adolescent girls at workshops for gender-based violence prevention, we noticed that girls started mentioning situations they experienced, so I will quote some of them. A boyfriend threatened to put my naked photos online if we don't get back together. My boyfriend and I exchanged passwords. We share everything, no secrets in a relationship. What do you think about that? Someone made a meme of me and posted it online. Someone created a profile with my name and is posting false things about me. In 2014, we found out about a Facebook group in Kruševac. There were like several Facebook groups called Gossip Girls. And those Facebook groups had idea to put on spot girls who are not behaving as they should. So, for example, there was like posts like, this and this girl had oral sex with her boyfriend in the school bathroom toilet. Or some girl is like having sex with different partners. As a result of this page, one of the girls attempted suicide. So we took this very seriously and started working on this program. This is one of the reasons. And I put here 2 types of actually target groups that we are working with. One are girls and young women, and the other are human rights activists. The same thing for them is that violence is gender-based, but the differences are political. So they include cyberbullying, sexual harassment, stalking, abusement in relationship, transfer to online sphere, revenge porn, threats, violent comments. This is Zoe Gudovic. She is a lesbian activist from Serbia. She is a queer and feminist activist as well. This is 2016, one of many protests in Belgrade against the government. Zoe was talking about against militarism and discrimination and against corruption. After this speech and this huge protest, she was targeted online because, of course, photos appear on Facebook pages, and she got numerous threats inbox and in comments. One of the threats is that she should be hanged on the tall tree or she should be poisoned. This is just one of the drop in the sea of insults that human rights activists face every day all over the world. The use of internet and social networks is an unavoidable part of activist work. So we conducted several researches in past 7 years in order to examine this issue. One of the research that is conducted in 4 countries aim to map how human rights activists are affected, and of course legislatives that could be used. At that time, when conservative currents are prevailing in Serbia, as we could see, we are witnessing frequent attacks on women who are activists and publicly active. Specific types of attacks and threats in offline and online space are directed towards women who are defenders of human rights. According to this research, 54% of formal and informal groups that were surveyed have experienced online violence. Also, 49% of human rights activists individually experienced online violence. The interviewees think that they are targeted individually and as part of their organizations because of their stance regarding human rights, their political stance, and their personal characteristics or identities. In most cases, the perpetrators are unknown persons, anonymous persons, profiled under a pseudonym, persons who know the interviewees, online portals, or extreme right groups. Women who step out of the private into the public space sphere often face the risk of personal harm. This risk is increased if they are working on issues that are more delicate and directly touch a critique of patriarchy, traditional values, or current political questions. From a legal point of view, we will find ourselves in the realm of domestic and international laws, which do not regulate all harmful actions and behaviors in the digital space. Analysis of legislative shows that laws are not adjusted to the online sphere. Inadequate and insufficient communication between all institutions that address this issue, lack of human resources, technical and financial resources for the organizations who are fighting this violence, and minimization of problems and increased tolerance to all forms of violence. So what we decided to do is continuously build capacities of women human rights defenders in area of digital security and privacy. So we organize each year trainings for women activists which are holistic, with a holistic approach, and don't tackle just digital security, but also other aspects of security. The feminist principles of the internet is what we also talk about. Those are the statements that were made and crafted by Feminist Internet Meeting in Malaysia in April 2014 by Association of Progressive Communication. And currently there are 17 principles in total, organized in 5 clusters. Access, can you just, access, movement, economy, expression, and embodiment. Together, they aim to provide a framework for women's movement to articulate and explore issues related to technology. Now I'm going to talk a bit about effects that girls face in Serbia by digital violence. And this research was done several months after the COVID-19 pandemic on the mental health of girls, but also to map how much girls are exposed to digital violence, especially in lockdown. We will talk about mental health a bit later, but here is the fact that every 3rd girl had experienced digital violence. And in 69%, perpetrators were men. Let's talk about online stalking for a bit. According to Serbian law, it is not a single act, but the act that is repeated several times and lasts a certain period of time. Stalking implies Other similar unwanted actions like tracking and visits to one's work or to school, which endangers a person's personal life and inner peace of mind. The legal tolerance for cyber violence is reinforced by the fact that the criminal offense of insult or stalking, one of the most common offenses in the digital space, is not prosecuted ex officio, but on the basis of a private criminal report. Given the overall economic situation, the inefficiency of the institutions, but also the lack of information, the persons who suffered abuse in the digital space usually don't initiate a report. In this research, we found out that 111 cases went to court, but only 11 were prosecuted, and only one case ended with jail sentence. Online survey shown that 97% of young women aged 18 to 25 experienced online stalking. Social networks where they were abused mostly were Facebook and Instagram. In 89%, perpetrators were men. Now let's talk about psychological consequences on everyone who ever suffered online abuse. There are three aspects of conditions that person that experience online abuse can develop: traumatical conditions, avoidance reactions, sleep disorder, and PTSD. So today we had a workshop with the same topic, and some of the girls mentioned one of the strategies: we should delete social networks profiles, or change, or withdraw or change number. But I don't think this is a solution. Also, what is happening with traumatical conditions are tensions, troubles with sleeping and concentration, increased fear, exaggerated reactions, and PTSD. Anxiety. Symptoms of anxiety are fear or worry that the traumatic situation will repeat, panic attacks, and others. And physical symptoms accompanying the fear are often present, such as rapid breathing or heart rate, and tremors, sweating. And very commonly, fear trigger can be a sound of message arrives. Behaviors and feelings from depressive spectrum. They are characterized by the presence of sadness, disappointment, loneliness, hopelessness, lack of self-belief, and feelings of guilt and inferiority. Have any of you experienced any of these symptoms? I know I have. Thank you. Different forms of abuse and neglect in gender dimension in the digital space represents a series of social challenges. It is important that we work on comprehensive prevention which will put the human rights at the center of protection. It is important that we get rid of the fear of technology as a phenomenon whose development we cannot influence. But finally, it is important to understand that the causes of digital violence are not in technology per se, but in the complexity of human behavior. In the long run, what we as a society needs is to build a culture of dialogue and in the digital age, that is to nurture nonviolent and assertive communication as a prevention of potential digital violence. And thank you.